Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video series, part 6 of this video series, we're going to continue to look at the works of Weston Price, where remember he proved that processed foods are harmful, and he identified Activator X, or vitamin K2, which is simply a level 2 nutrient, but it might also become an additional temporary need because we've damaged ourselves, society, and the environment. Remember, we have two groups of needs now. The first one's based on the law of cause and effect. We have 12 essential needs, especially our natural diet. We have a species-specific diet, and once again, Weston Price proved that we're not supposed to eat processed foods. But then, if we don't eat that diet, if we eat foods that provide a certain level 2 nutrients, for example, we might have an additional temporary need because we're damaged, our body's atrophied. We might not be able to make any K2 based on our anatomical limitations. Remember, there's two anatomical limitations. The one we're given at birth, that means we have a species-specific diet, but then if we damage ourselves, we can create another group of needs. Now, what I'd like to do to shed some light on this is simply play a video that I put out, or produced, or published on June 1st. I'll just let this play.
Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'd like to take a closer look at the possibility of whether or not we have become dependent upon some of our mistakes and whether or not we're using those mistakes as an excuse to keep making the mistakes. And the sad reality to that question is, yes, some of us have become dependent upon our mistakes, and yes, some of us will use that as an excuse to keep making our mistakes. Now, what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about specifically are what's known as level 2 nutrients that healthy people are supposed to make if we get all of our needs, if we satisfy all of our needs. The problem here is that we're not satisfying all of our needs. And when that happens, we damage ourselves, and that's what creates this other group of needs. That's how we become dependent upon certain level 2 nutrients. The classic example that's taken millennium to happen, which can also happen over a shorter period of time with other level 2 nutrients, but the classic example is what happened in Norway, where they've been eating so much fish for a millennium that they've been getting a direct source of DHA, which is one of those level 2 nutrients that healthy people can make if they have the right omega-3, omega-6 ratio, which most of us don't, even vegetarians. It's easy to eat unnatural food and create an imbalance there. So what happened to these people from Norway is that they've been eating so much DHA directly from their fish, their body is atrophied, and it can no longer make that level 2 nutrient. So now they have another group of needs that's based on not the law of cause and effect, but the ripple effect. Remember, there's two types of anatomical limitations. One we're given at birth, because we're living systems and subject to this law of cause and effect. And then there's the other set of anatomical limitations that we get from making mistakes that have damaged ourselves. So we can damage ourselves by giving it something that it's supposed to make, and then it atrophies and no longer can make it, you see? So it's easy to become dependent upon some of our mistakes. And the mistake I'm talking about now would be mistake number 2. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll have heard me say this many times. There are 5 main mistakes we're making that are causing most of our problems. And they all have to do with 5 things that we mastered, and then we made bad applications. So when we mastered animals, we made a bad application by eating them, just in the same way we mastered plants, the agricultural revolution, and started eating plants that we weren't biologically adapted to eat. You see, this is why we suffer. And the reason why there's so much confusion around nutrition is because food is actually a weapon system. It's the means by which the status quo remains the status quo. Because we've been eating the wrong food for a long time, which means if we're going to stay where we are, we've got to keep eating the wrong food. Don't you see? It doesn't even have to be a conspiracy, although, trust me, there are a lot of people getting together making sure this system and way of life continues.
So that's what we got, my friends. We've got a system that's tricking us and fooling us, and that's the purpose of this video series, is to help us understand how we're being tricked and fooled. So stay tuned, because you're in for a treat.